Hey guys, welcome to a computer video this time, and it's going to be about my home file server. I'm going to do some general maintenance, swapping out the power supply because the one I put in there, as I'm going to show you in just a second, is really jury-rigged because it's not the right form factor. And I'm also going to swap the fans in this thing because currently I have the original Silverstone fans in there, which cannot be controlled by my Mainboard because it only supports PWM fans, and those are conventional 3-pin fans. So let's turn this around real quick. Now, to show you the back of the thing, up here you can see the power supply, and this one is, I don't know what kind of form factor it is, but it's certainly not the SFX form factor that is required. You're going to see later on when I put all the new power supply set aside. That's the main point what I wanted to change. Besides, it's also a cheap $20 supply, which I got of Pollen Electronic, I think. It's a Seasonic brand, so not total crap, and it has served very well. It has served very well over the time. But now I'm going to change it out to a Silverstone one. Alright, so after opening up the side panel, you have to remove these 4 screws, and I think 2 on the bottom, to remove the front hard drive cage. We need to do this to get to anything basically in this case, so that's what I'm going to do next. Oh, also remember to remove the hard drives first. Now after opening it up and removing the cage, you can see the inside. Down there is a C2550 D4i by AsrockRack. The case, by the way, is a DS380 by Silverstone. Anyways, you can see it's quite a mess, and especially if you look down there, especially if we look down there, you can see my DIY kind of fan power supply thingy. I'm going to show it to you later, but that's what's going to go along with these installed fans, these two, and the one on the exit here. I'm going to be replacing those with BeQuiet fans, which are actually PWM fans, so we can control them with this motherboard. Okay, so here you can see the little fan adapter I built. You plug in your power supply and simply push it through the 5-volt lines to these 4 fan headers, and then it provides the clock output from the fans here on this pin header, which can be used using these 2-pon cables to at least allow monitoring of the fans, if not controlling, even if it's not controlling them. But this is all going to go. Also, if we switch over to the computer itself, we can see here that's the power supply, and it has this annoying overhanging fan thingy here, and that's what breaks this power supply for this case. So that's why it's got to go. Plus it's cheap. So here you can see the new power supply. It's a Silverstone 300 watt SFX power supply, and here's the old one, and in comparison you can see this one has the fan on kind of an higher point here, and this one does not, so this one here will probably, hopefully, fit perfectly fine in there. Plus, if you look at it, it doesn't have that many connectors. Of course, it's a SFX power supply. This one was, by the way, not a 200 watt power supply, that's 300. And it should even stay passive under low load conditions. I don't know whether the server will meet them, but I guess we're going to be fine with noise. Because I think this thing here was the loudest fan in the old setup. So now about integrating, oh yeah, one note, if you're using this case here, the Silverstone case, make sure you get a power supply with at least 2 of these Molex connectors, as those are required for the setup backplane. After installing the power supply, which made some really awful sounds again when plugging in this, I'm sorry for the lighting though, when plugging in this 24-pin power connector, everything still seems to work. And let me tell you, it's just amazing to know that an octa-core is booting with 0 noise. Because this power supply, as you might be able to see, is passively cooled in low load situations. So that's pretty cool. The system is currently drawing 26 watts, and that's with it's just showing the BIOS without any hard drives or stuff connected. So yeah, moving on to the fans. Alright, the 3 fans are installed. I'm currently thinking about putting a CPU fan on the cooler directly. I don't know about that yet though. One downside of this case though is if you want to install these fans with noise dampeners, it's not going to work, because noise dampeners will come out of the case and block you from installing the air filter. Which sucks, but I guess I've got to deal with it and move on. The cable chaos is back in place. Again, you can't see very much, sorry. I'm going to try and get a bit of a better shot. I installed the small 3cm fan directly on the heatsink. I don't know whether it will make any effect, whether it will have any effect, but I guess time will tell. And so I'm basically ready to put the cover back on, but before I do that I'll put it back on. I mean, Murphy will probably punish me for it, but I'm gonna put the cover on, then I'm gonna try it. Alright, so now to first boot up with Freenas back in. This is a NAS data disk and cannot boot the system. Okay, something in the BIOS is f***ed. I'll be right back. And of course Murphy got me. I forgot that the BIOS battery was empty, or at least it was reading 0.24 volts in the administration interface, so yeah, get to take it apart. Partially, and luckily it's a nice standing battery holder down right there in the middle of the screen. Which is easy to get to even when it's installed, so I was kind of lucky here. But yeah. So let's change this and then try again. Alright, so after reinstalling, everything works again. You can see it does serve files again. And yeah, so I guess this project is done. I'm currently running the fans at a pretty high speed, so it's probably louder than before. I've got to test in the actual room, but I might turn them down a bit. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.